Elon Musk is the billionaire CEO of SpaceX and Tesla and was ranked by Forbes as number 21 on their list of the world's most powerful people. He went from being raised by his abusive father in the suburbs of South Africa to now being the 20th richest person in the world with a net worth of $41.1 billion. Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 for my top 10, top 10, 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person that you know, but you also know that you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Elon Musk, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, accept failures.
When trying different things, you got to have some acceptance of failure, as you were alluding to earlier. Failure must be an option. If failure is not an option, it's going to result in extremely conservative choices, and you may get something even worse than lack of innovation. Things may go backwards. If what you really want is you want reward and punishment to be proportionate to the actions that you seek. So if what you're seeking is innovation, then you should reward success in innovation. And only there should be minor consequences for trying and failing. There should be minor. With significant rewards for trying and succeeding, minor consequences for trying and not succeeding, and major negative consequences for not trying.
Rule number 2, overcome doubt.
Or maybe I just blank out the word doubt. No, I mean, to be totally frank, I doubted us too. So I thought we, had maybe, when starting SpaceX, maybe had a 10% chance of reaching orbit. So to those who doubted us, I was like, well, I think you're probably right. The number of times that I was told, because I was taking the money that I earned from PayPal and rolling it into to create SpaceX and Telsa, and I ended up spending it all. It wasn't the intention, but almost both companies went bankrupt. Frankly, 2008 was a tough year. It took us 4 attempts just to get to orbit with Falcon 1. But a lot of times people would tell me this joke, like, how do you make a small fortune in the rocket industry? You start with a large one, is the punchline. And I was like, okay, I already heard that joke 12,000 times, Anyway, and it almost came true. We just barely made it there, that 4th launch of Falcon 1. That's all the money we had for that 4th launch. And then and that wasn't even enough to save the company. We also then had to win the NASA cargo resupply contract. So that came a little after, a little bit later, or right towards the end of 2008. Those are the 2 key things that saved SpaceX. Otherwise, we would have, not made it. So hey, I think those doubters their probability assessment was correct. But fortunately, fate has smiled upon us and brought us to this day.
Rule number 3, limit mistakes.
As you look back on your career in the space industry, what has been the most surprising or unexpected challenge that you faced? And along those lines, if you were to go back in time and talk to your 20-year-old self, would you do anything differently?
Go back in time to your 20-year-old self.
I mean, I think it would make far fewer mistakes. Obviously, if I could go, like, here's a list of all the dumb things you're about to do. Please do not do them.
Wouldn't we all?
It'd be a very long list. And here, let me write it down or something. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, so it's hard to say. I mean, I've made so many foolish mistakes, I lost count, honestly. I mean, some of these things I just wish like that's simple sort of mantra, management by rhyming. I mean, it worked for Homer, okay? But management by rhyming is that thing I was saying, like, if the schedule is long, the design is wrong. We've overcomplicated the design many times. And I think we should have just gone with a simpler design, with the acid test being, how long will it take for this to fly? And if it's going to take a long time, don't do it. Do something else.
Rule number 4, push for radical breakthroughs.
I think we need to push for radical breakthroughs. And if you don't push for radical breakthroughs, you're not going to get radical outcomes. And that does mean taking risks. And common sense that if you take a big risk, in order to have a big reward, there must be a big risk. Most of the time, you cannot find big reward for small risk. Those are rare. So you're going to have some proportionality with the risk and reward.
Also, if you want to have more confidence and learn from billionaires, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
There are just times when something is important enough, you believe in it enough, that you do it in spite of the fear. Starting companies like staring into the abyss and eating glass. When you want to do something new, you have to apply the physics approach.
Rule number 5, optimize.
Really just simplify your product as much as possible. And then like if I think of some of the ways in which, how does a smart engineer make dumb mistakes, is optimize something that shouldn't exist. Mm-hmm. Don't optimize something that shouldn't exist. But people are trained to do this in college. You can't say no to the professor. The professor's going to give you the exam and you've got to answer all the questions, or they will get angry. And give you a bad grade. So then you always optimize you always answer the question. A lot of the times you should say this is the wrong question.
Right.
In fact, the question is definitely wrong to some degree, just how wrong. And I think just generally taking the approach that your design is some degree wrong, probably a lot more than you think. Your goal is to make it less wrong over time.
Rule number 6, always look for improvement.
One of the fun things for me is watching the cargo go into the crew vessel. All of a sudden we had Dragon 1, now we have Crew Dragon, and it's substantially different but familiar. Mm-hmm. So tell us, what's been some of the hardest parts to transition from cargo into crew? Because crew is a little more important than cargo.
Yes, I mean cargo can be replaced, crew cannot. And so the level of scrutiny, the level of attention is, I don't know, order of magnitude greater. I mean, it was already high for cargo. I mean, but it's just a whole nother level for crew. I told the SpaceX team that this mission reliability is not merely the top priority; it is the only priority right now. Mm-hmm. So we're just doing continuous engineering reviews from now, nonstop, 24 hours a day until launch. Just going over everything again and again and again. And I was out at the pad just recently, just walking down the rocket. We've got a team that's just crawling over the rocket in the horizontal. Then we're going to rotate it vertical. Then we're going to crawl all over in the vertical. And we're just looking for any possible action that can improve the probability of success, no matter how small. Whether that comes from an intern or me or anyone, doesn't matter.
Rule number 7, innovate.
What sort of things do you look for in people or in processes that make the workforce better?
Sure. Well, I think the massive thing that can be done is to make sure your incentive structure is such that innovation is rewarded and lack of innovation is punished. There's got to be a carrot and a stick. So if somebody is innovating and making good progress, then they should be promoted sooner. And if somebody is completely failing to innovate, not every role requires innovation, but if they're in a role where innovation should be happening and it's not happening, then they should either not be promoted or exited. And let me tell you, you'll get promoted, you'll get innovation real fast.
Rule number 8, use management by rhyming.
So now your actual total mass of a reusable steel spacecraft is less than that of the most advanced carbon fiber vehicle you could possibly imagine.
Yeah. Wow.
But this happened by accident, by the way. This may sound like some great insight, but it actually happened because we were moving too slowly on composite. And I was like, we cannot move this slowly or we'll go bankrupt. So just do this with steel.
So the design has to be focused on problem solving, otherwise you're going to spend too much time trying to figure it. You don't start with
Yeah, I'm like sort of taking to management by rhyming. If the schedule is long, your design is wrong.
Right.
This is very true.
That's good point.
Yes.
Rule number 9, be a problem solver.
Zip2 started off as basically, like I said, we're trying to figure out how to make enough money to exist as a company, and so since there wasn't really any advertising money being made, we thought we could help existing companies get online, bring their stuff online. So we developed software that helped bring a lot of the newspapers and media companies online, because a lot of them just they also didn't know what the internet was.
You had some big customers, didn't you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And even the ones that were aware of the internet didn't have a software team, so they weren't very good at developing functionality. So we had, as investors and customers, the New York Times Company, Knight Ridder, Hearst, and so we were able to get them to pay us to develop software for them to bring them online, so online publishing stuff. And we did maps and directions and yellow pages and white pages and various other things.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is plan perfect dates.
I met a woman I dated briefly in college who now works at Scientific American as a writer, and she related the anecdote that we went on a date. All I was talking about was electric cars. That was not a winning conversation.
So it was a bit of a monologue, was it?
Yeah, she said she said the first question I asked her was, "Do you ever think about electric cars?" She said, "No, she never does."
So you learn from that. That wasn't the best shout-out line.
Wasn't great. But it has recently it's been more effective.
There you go. I know this man.
Now I've got a special bonus clip from Elon on how to work towards your goals that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, question of the day, I want to know, what is the internal doubt that you have that you need to overcome? Let me know, put it down in the comments below. And if you made it this far in the video, you're still here watching, give me a hashtag believe down in the comments below. I want to celebrate you. We don't just watch videos here, we do something about it. So give me that believe in the comments below too.
I'm really quite overcome with emotion this day. It's kind of hard to talk, frankly. It's been 18 years working towards this goal, so it's hard to believe that it's happened. And we haven't quite yet docked at the space station, and of course we need to bring them back safely, and we need to repeat these missions and have this be a regular occurrence. So it's a lot of work to do, but it's just incredible.
If you want 10 more awesome rules from Elon Musk, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
If you have a choice of a lower valuation with someone you really like, or a higher valuation with someone you have a question mark about, take the lower valuation.